Hello and welcome, everyone. A lot of you are probably wondering how I completed a brand new survival Minecraft world in 14.9 seconds and got all the achievements in 1.4 seconds. That is actually a very good question, and I will spend this video doing a little commentary of how this idea works, how it was developed, and how I think it happens. But before we do anything else, we need to define the rules. Defining the rules is the most important part of any speedrun, especially in the competitive scene. Without rules, you might as well just mod your client to win the game instantaneously. So what are the rules used for this speedrun? The basis for my rules were defined by Speed Demos Archive, one of the biggest archives for speedruns on the internet. The first thing is to choose a category. The rules will depend on the category chosen. The category we chose is any percent. This is the most basic of any speedrun. The aim is to reach an ending as fast as you can within the boundaries of the game. This may include skipping entire sections of the game, skipping key items, leaving the boundaries of the gaming world, and abusing programming oversights left in the game. Speedruns are with large skip glitches if they use tricks or glitches which allow you to skip major parts of the game. Emulators are not allowed, and neither is modding your system or Minecraft in any way. You must not use third-party tools during the speedrun. Then a speedrunner called Loudlot and I defined some specific rules for Minecraft. 1. You must play on a newly generated survival world with cheats disabled. 2. The timer starts when the survival world is created. 3. The timer stops when the credits start. 4. You may not switch your game mode during the speedrun. Now that we have the rules set in stone, we're going to look at the technique one step at a time. The technique starts by using this world. The core of the concept is this little packet of command blocks. The first thing we do is flick the lever attached to the command block directly above the red wall. This will set block a redstone block directly beneath it and teleport the player into a specific location ready for the next step. The placed redstone block will firstly set the random tick speed to 125 million. Then, after approximately 7 seconds, depending on how fast your computer is, the redstone block will move from the right hand side of the screen to the left hand side. As soon as the redstone block is placed on the left hand side, we quit the world and generate a new survival world. Now, things get strange. So we're going to name the two worlds. The command world will be the world that we just left, whereas the newly generated world will be called the survival world. We are currently in the process of waiting one game tick in the command world, but because of the time dilation, this has been extended to allow us to generate this survival world. Around the time that we enter the survival world, the command blocks in the command world will activate. This will schedule 4 commands. The first command places a command block containing a teleport command next to the player. The second places a command block containing a summon command next to the player. The third summons a falling redstone block entity next to the player, and the fourth places an end portal at the player's feet, causing them to teleport into the end in the next game tick of the survival world. After the end has generated and a further game tick has passed, the falling redstone block in the overworld lands, powering the command blocks. These command blocks summon a prime TNT entity with a fuse of 0 ticks riding an ender dragon with 1 HP 20 blocks above the player, and teleports the player vertically by 560 blocks and 1 block in the horizontal axis. Finally, the player falls down and into the generating end portal below, forcing the credits to start. So how does the glitch actually work? Now, I can't say exactly how it works, but I can give a hypothesis supported by evidence. This hypothesis is parallel world processing. The idea is that when a player leaves a world pre 1.8, the server keeps running for a few ticks. By time dilating the world, we can lengthen these ticks and extend them to a length of time we need to create a new world. We can then execute commands targeted towards the player from the creative command block world in the new survival world. The hypothesis is supported by an experiment and also some coincidental evidence. The experiment went as follows. World A is the world with the command blocks in, and World B is the newly created survival world. The spawn chunks of World A are centered at 0, 0. The command blocks in World A have the commands set block 0, 100, 0, sponge, and TP at P, 0, 101, 0. Upon time dilating and quitting World A, and creating World B, the player is teleported to 0, 100, 0 of World B. However, the block is placed in World A and not World B. That means the worlds must be being processed at the same time. Side note, this also means you can actually clone things from one world to another. The coincidental evidence is that after generating the new world, the game lags intensely for a few seconds, almost as if another world is unloading at that time. This lag proved as a good indicator to showing when the early macro I had used failed. If I exit the game too early, this lag is very noticeable. But how did this concept develop and evolve over time from the initial conception? The whole thing started when Panda4994 posted a video by Tamtam in a Skype chat. In the video, Tamtam shows off a contraption that allows him to use the give command in a survival world with cheats disabled. Panda Cabo Prizey and I then started discussing the use of this bug in speedruns. Prizey and Panda both pointed out that the use of game-breaking bugs like duplication glitches is already commonly used in the Minecraft speedrunning community. Furthermore, bugs like save corruption and in-game memory manipulation are commonly used in the speedrunning communities of other games like Pokemon, for instance. A great example of this being the speedrunner Mark Verster Mackenzie on 25th of the 11th 2011, where he managed to complete Pokemon Yellow in 0 hours and 0 minutes. This technique was popularized by the YouTuber Psycho in his video How to Beat Pokemon Yellow in 0 hours and 0 minutes. These glitches are commonly called large skip glitches. However, for a whole year, this concept was abandoned, until the 5th of July 2015, at the Minecon closing ceremony. At the ceremony, I sat at the front next to a Japanese speedrunner who goes by the name of Loutlot. While thinking about speedrunning, I remembered this old concept we had had, a way of completing the game in under a minute. Upon the realization of this, I told Loutlot, and he motivated me to do it for real. At first, the concept was extremely undeveloped. The command blocks were arranged in the same way Tamtam had showcased the technique. The random tick speed was set at 500 million since 1.25 million didn't produce enough lag. The falling redstone block was summoned 50 blocks higher than the player. The player had to kill the Ender Dragon by hand and had to stack up with cobblestone in order to get into the end portal. My first full speedrun with this setup was done in 28.477 seconds. This was still a world record, but I knew it could be improved upon. After further researching how the technique worked, I adopted a new command strip method. I decided that Summon TNT could kill the Ender Dragon instead of the player. The player still had to stack up with Cobblestone though, and one of the big problems I came across is that in many speedruns I was trapped underground inside the End Island. This led to me adding an execute fill command to remove the endstone above me. After a bit of optimization, we arrive at my next best speedrun, cutting the previous record by a third. Next, I removed the player's need to stack up with Cobblestone by introducing the teleportation command. This also allowed me to get rid of the execute fill command. I then followed a few suggestions from Panda4994 to reduce the render distance to 2, to decrease the amount of time it took to generate the world, and to optimize the random tick speed lag by filling a whole section with random tickable blocks and removing all other random tickable blocks from the world. Finally, I made a macro which generates a new world for me very quickly. This macro activates after a specific pixel of my screen becomes redder than grey, i.e. when the stone becomes a redstone block. I don't expect this will make it as a fully fledged world record, because of a few possible critiques to the technique. However, I would like to address some of these critiques now. Technically, commands could be considered as cheat codes, which violates the SDA's rules. However, technically it wasn't the player using the commands during the speedrun, but instead it was command blocks using commands executed on the player. That being said, the SDA only really provides a guideline, and many games don't have other objects which could use these cheat codes for you. I used a macro during this speedrun. Though it isn't necessary, if you removed it, you would have to change the random tick speed to adequately fit the speed at which the player can generate a new world. Therefore, this speedrun could be considered as a tool-assisted speedrun, or a TAS. That being said, the tool is only used before the survival world is generated, and therefore before the timer itself starts. In these cases, I am unsure whether it is a TAS or a regular speedrun. This is done in a snapshot, an experimental version of Minecraft. The bug may have existed in 1.7.10, but it's difficult to test without random tick speed and execute, which were introduced in the 1.8 snapshots. And sadly, the bug was fixed before the release of 1.8. However, it may still be possible to do this in 1.7, but we'll need to use some other form of time dilation. We would also only be able to do it in a set seed speedrun, so we can teleport the player to the correct end portal with the correct number of Eyes of Ender, since without the execute command we will not be able to place blocks in the new world. In the achievement speedrun, the command achievement give star could be used instead of many command blocks with individual achievement commands. I didn't do this because the word, given Sankarn all achievements, kind of gives it away and would provide spoilers. And that's it. Just to finish off, I would like to thank a few people who made the speedruns possible. The first is Tamtam for his discovery of the command block glitch made 1 year ago. The second is Panda4994, who actively helped in the development of the technique used in the speedrun. The third is Loutlot, for 1. inspiring me to do this, and 2. for helping me create the ground rules. The fourth is Elrich MC, who I went to ask some questions about how speedruns were timed. And finally, I would like to thank Cellulance and Purple Planet for the epic music used in this video, the speedruns, and my channel. And as always, thanks for watching.